Hello, I'm Rosa from the School of Wild Medicine, and this is our Violet's Materia Medica video. I hope you've got a cup of tea ready because this is going to be a long one. We're going to cover how to make various violet home remedies, which are really easy. That we're going to cover violet flower syrup, violet-infused oil, and violet leaf tincture. We're also going to look at how we can use violet's edible flowers and leaves in lots of recipes like salads, baking, decorating cakes, and we're going to look at how to make some really special drinks with violet. We're going to do a deep dive on how violet has been used traditionally for different health conditions. So for skin conditions like eczema, for respiratory conditions like asthma, and for stagnant lymph nodes. We'll also take a look at some of the historical uses of violet, such as for making love potions. I've created a Violet Materia Medica ebook, and you can access that for free. Just click the link in the description. This will take you to the information page for our family herbalist course. So just click the free preview button on that page and you'll be able to access the book. The book has all the written notes for this video, and it also goes into more details about how to forage violet, and which species you'll find in the UK, in Europe, in North America and Canada. Let me just check this. So let's get started with one of the simplest and most popular violet home remedies you can make, violet flower syrup. To make violet flower syrup, you'll need about 1 to 2 cups of freshly picked violet flowers, loosely packed, and around 2 cups of freshly boiled water. Pour the hot water over the flowers and leave them to steep for at least 30 minutes. Once that's done, strain out the flowers and you'll be left with a beautiful violet infusion. At this stage, you can add your sweetener. Using white sugar will give you the brightest colour syrup, but you can also use honey if you prefer. If you'd like to change the colour from a deep blue-purple to a violet or a pink tone, you can add a few drops of lemon juice. Just do this slowly, a drop at a time, to make sure that you get the colour that you're looking for. And that's it. Your violet syrup is ready to use. You can keep it in the fridge for several weeks, depending on how much sugar you've used. You can add it to drinks, drizzle it over desserts, or simply enjoy a spoonful or two on its own for its medicinal benefits, which we'll go into shortly. If you'd like the written version of this recipe, that's included in the Violet Materia Medica ebook. And let me know in the comments if you've got any questions about how to make any of these recipes. Next, we're going to have a look at how to make a violet leaf infused oil, which is a really useful preparation, especially for external use on the skin. For this, you'll want to dry your violet leaves first to avoid introducing moisture into the oil. Start by loosely filling a clean, dry jar with your dried crumbled violet leaves, then pour over your chosen oil, something like olive oil or almond oil works well, until the leaves are completely covered. Give it a gentle stir to release any air bubbles and then seal the jar. You can make this oil using a cold infusion method by leaving it somewhere warm and out of direct sunlight for around 4 to 6 weeks, giving it a shake every few days. If you'd prefer a quicker method, you can gently heat the jar using a bain-marie or very low heat for a few hours, just until the oil has taken on the colour and scent of the leaves. Once it's ready, strain out the plant material, pressing it gently to extract as much oil as possible, and pour the finished oil into a clean bottle. Store it in a cool, dark place where it should keep well for several months. You can use this oil as it is, or add beeswax to turn it into a soothing salve for dry or irritated skin. Now, let's look at how to make a violet leaf tincture, which is a more concentrated preparation and a really useful way to make sure you have violet leaf on hand anytime you need her. To make violet leaf tincture, you can either use dried violet leaves or fresh leaves. If you're using fresh leaves, you can choose to let them wilt for a few hours first if you want to reduce some of the moisture. Start by filling a clean jar about halfway with dried crumbled leaves, or by loosely packing it almost to the top if you're using fresh chopped leaves. Then pour over your alcohol. Vodka is a good choice. You can use 40 to 50% alcohol, which in the US that's 80 proof or 100 proof. Make sure all of the plant material is fully covered and that you fill your glass jar to the top. Seal the jar, label it with the contents and date, and give it a gentle shake. If you're using dried leaves, check it the next day and top up with a little more alcohol if needed, just to make sure that everything stays submerged. Then leave the jar in a cool, dark place for around 8 to 12 weeks, giving it a gentle shake every so often. Once it's ready, strain out the plant material, pressing it to extract as much liquid as possible, and pour the finished tincture into a clean glass bottle. Stored out of direct light, this will keep well for a long time, and it will be a really versatile addition to your home apothecary. So let me know in the comments if you've got any questions about how to use violet tincture. Another lovely way to work with violet is by simply eating her. The young leaves can be eaten fresh in salads, where they have a mild, slightly nutty flavour and blend easily with other greens. They're also quite high in mucilage, which gives them a slightly silky texture and means they can help to thicken things like soups or stews. You can cook the leaves as you would other leafy greens, adding them to dishes like stir-fries towards the end of cooking. And of course, the flowers make your meals look really beautiful. They can be scattered over salads or desserts, pressed into cookies before baking, or used to decorate cakes with candied flowers. In the picture here we've got some pansies. They're closely related to violets and they can be used in just the same ways. Violet syrup can also be used in all kinds of different ways, whether that's drizzled over fruit, stirred into yogurt, or added to desserts like pancakes and ice cream. Violet is a highly nutritious plant. It's rich in vitamin C, contains beta-carotene, and provides minerals like calcium and magnesium. You can also make some really special drinks with violet, like a simple violet lemonade by adding the syrup to fresh lemon juice and carbonated water. It also works beautifully in cocktails, where the colour and light floral flavour really shines through, and you can add a few violet flowers for decoration. Now, we're going to do a really deep dive into the medicinal uses of violet. We'll start with taking a look at violet energetics, which helps us understand how this plant works in the body. Violet is cooling and moistening in its action, which makes it especially useful for hot and dry conditions. It helps to soothe irritation, replenish depleted tissues, and soften dryness where there's inflammation or tension, such as in dry coughs, sore throats, inflamed skin, or irritated eyes. At the same time, violet also has an affinity for dampness and congestion. It supports the lymphatic system, helping to move stagnant fluids and clear blocked or sluggish tissues, particularly where there's underactivity or buildup. Because of this, you can use violet in conditions like swollen lymph nodes, cysts, fibrocystic breast tissue, and lingering congestion in the respiratory tract. So overall, violet is a gentle but effective remedy where there's a combination of heat, dryness, and stagnation. Next, let's look at how violet can be used for skin conditions. Violet is a classic remedy for irritated and inflamed skin, and both the leaves and flowers have soothing and anti-inflammatory properties. It's particularly helpful for dry, reactive skin, where there's redness, heat, or itching, as it helps to cool and calm the tissues while also restoring moisture. Because it's high in mucilage, violet forms a kind of protective layer over the skin, which can help to soften dryness and support the skin's natural healing processes. Traditionally, it's been used for conditions like eczema, psoriasis, acne, and rosacea. It also has some gentle pain-relieving effects, which can help ease discomfort in inflamed or sensitive areas. You can use violet topically as an infused oil, salve, or compress, applying it directly to the skin to soothe and support repair. So overall, it's a really gentle but effective option for calming irritated, dry, or inflamed skin. Now we're going to look at how violet can support respiratory health. Violet has a long history of use for conditions involving dryness, irritation, and congestion in the lungs and airways. It acts as a gentle expectorant, helping to loosen and clear mucus, while also soothing inflamed tissues. Because of its high mucilage content, it coats and protects irritated mucous membranes, which makes it especially helpful for dry, tickly coughs. At the same time, it can also be useful where there's thicker congestion, helping to move mucus without being overly stimulating. Traditionally, it's been used for things like coughs, colds, bronchitis, and lingering congestion in the chest. You can take violet as a tea, a tincture, or a syrup, depending on what feels most appropriate. Violet is an effective remedy for both dry and congested respiratory conditions. Next, we're going to look at how violet can support digestive health. Violet is particularly helpful where there's dryness, irritation, or inflammation in the digestive system. Because it's cooling and moistening, it helps to soothe inflamed tissues and restore balance where things feel hot, sensitive, or reactive. Its high mucilage content coats and protects the lining of the digestive tract, which can be especially useful in irritated states like gastritis or general digestive discomfort. It can also help to ease irritation, reduce sensitivity, and support more comfortable digestion overall. Violet also has a mild laxative effect, which can help encourage gentle bowel movements, particularly where there's dryness or mild constipation. It supports elimination through its gentle action on the lymphatic and urinary systems, helping the body clear metabolic waste more efficiently. You can use violet as a tea, syrup, or even in food to support digestion. Let's look now at how violet supports the lymphatic system. Violet has a strong affinity for the lymphatics, particularly where there's stagnation, swelling, or poor fluid movement. It helps to gently stimulate lymphatic flow, supporting the body in clearing accumulated waste and moving fluids more effectively through the tissues. Traditionally, it's been used for swollen lymph nodes, particularly around the neck, throat, and ears, often alongside dry skin or sluggish elimination. Violet is also used more broadly where there's deeper lymphatic congestion, including in the breasts and lungs. It's also been used for the big C. Check the Violet Materia Medica ebook to learn more about that. You can use Violet internally as a tea or tincture, or externally as an infused oil or poultice applied to swollen areas. So overall, it's an effective herb for supporting lymphatic movement and clearing stagnation in the body. Violet also offers support for the urinary system. It has a mild diuretic effect, helping to increase urine flow and support the body in clearing heat and irritation from the urinary tract. Its mucilage content helps to soothe and protect irritated tissues, making it especially useful where there's dryness, sensitivity, or inflammation. Because of this combination, Violet can be helpful in conditions like urinary irritation, mild cystitis, or a burning sensation when passing urine. It's best suited to mild or early stage conditions, or as a supportive herb alongside other treatments. Violet is most commonly used here as a tea or infusion, allowing its soothing and hydrating qualities to work directly through the urinary tract. Violet also has a lovely balancing effect on the nervous system. It acts as a nervine, helping to calm tension, soothe the mind, and support emotional balance without being sedating or heavy. It's especially well suited to states of sensitivity where there's anxiety, overwhelm, or emotional strain alongside physical depletion. Violet has a long tradition of use in grief, where it's said to soften the heart and allow emotions to move rather than become stuck. The flowers in particular carry this effect, with their uplifting aromatic qualities contributing to a sense of calm. A simple tea made from the flowers can be used to support relaxation or taken in the evening to help you gently unwind. Violet also has analgesic and anti-inflammatory properties, making it useful in conditions involving heat, irritation, and swelling. It can help ease joint pain, muscle soreness, and inflammatory conditions such as mild arthritis. This effect is partly due to its content of salicylates, compounds related to aspirin, as well as flavonoids like rutin, which support circulation and reduce inflammation. Together, these actions help improve microcirculation in affected tissues and support the body's natural repair processes. Violet may also be helpful in headaches, particularly where there's tension, heat, or associated inflammation. A common way to use it is as Violet-infused oil, applied topically to sore joints or muscles. Violet can also be taken internally as a tea, often combined with other supportive herbs like chamomile or ginger. Violet has a long history of use, not only in herbal medicine, but also in perfumes, food, and cultural traditions linked to love and symbolism. In ancient Greece, violets were closely associated with Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and also with her son Priapus, the deity of gardens and fertility. They were used in garlands, perfumes, and early love potions, and were thought to inspire affection and open the heart. There are also myths linking violets to Orpheus, the legendary musician, whose playing was said to be so enchanting that violets would spring up wherever he laid down his lyre. The Romans continued this tradition, using wine infused with violets and honey, called vinum violatum, and decorating banquet tables with violet flowers. They believed violets could help prevent headaches, dizziness, and even reduce the effects of drunkenness. Much later, in the Victorian language of flowers, violets symbolized modesty, faithfulness, and devotion. This is where the phrase shrinking violet comes from. Okay, that was a lot of information. If you're still here, well done. Hopefully you know a lot more about the medicinal uses of violet than when you first started watching this video. And if you enjoyed this lecture, then you're going to love our family herbalist course at the School of Wild Medicine. You'll learn how to make home remedies, organise your home apothecary, and forage your own herbs. Learners have been joining from all over the world, from the US to Greece. We've been sharing pictures of our home apothecaries and information about how we use herbs every day. So if you'd like to join our friendly community, or you'd just like to learn more about the course, I'd love to have you. The link to the information page with your Violet ebook, the free downloadable one, is in the description. Ask in the comments if you have any questions, and please consider sharing this video on social media if you'd like to. That would be a massive help when it comes to growing this tiny channel. So see you in the next video. Bye.